how we should take charge of our emotions, different things. But this time it was so amazing that he shared on grace.
Australia, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand. We've covered pretty much the entire world.
Our current ministry plane is no longer usable. We need your help. And I ask all of our partners globally to get on board with Project G650.
We are believing for 200,000 people to give contributions of $300 or more to make this a reality.
If all of our existing partners were to sow $300 each from all over the world, we'd be able to acquire this jet in a very, very short period of time. But any contribution or gift amount is graciously appreciated as we continue to spread the gospel of grace.
For more information on how you can participate in sending Creflo Dollar Ministries with the gospel of grace to the four corners of the earth, visit CrefloDollarMinistries.org today and follow the link for Project G650. Or to make a donation of any amount using your mobile device, text G650 to 41444 today.
All right, I'm ready to write the check. I'm ready to write my check to Creflo Dollar. $300. Is it too late? Is it too late?
So
I mean, he has been all over the world
but does that
saving
mean,
souls. I'm moved.
But does that mean that he didn't ask his congregation?
No, it didn't say that. It said that he asked for people all over the world to send him $300.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford $300, I mean, it's
I mean, did he say something other than that? He says, you know,
it's a slick way to put it.
Yes, it is.
He asked his congregation, come on. If you know, critical thinking.
No, we just come on.
If you go out in a video and there's 50,000 people sitting in the audience, you think those persons are going to feel obligated for each one of those individuals to donate?
It depends on what was the word you just used. What did you use? You know, your heart or your, you know, spiritually weak or whatever.
Spiritual weaknesses. Yes.
It depends on your level of spiritual weakness. See?
Spiritual weakness.
Wow.
To me, what you should have done is privately reach out to whoever these partners that you have are, right? Yeah. And tell them that, listen, we need a G65. You know they put G65, right?
Is that the name of the plane?
Yeah, G650. That's the 65 million. So, you know what? To each his own, man.
What do you think about that? Would you give him some money?
No.
Why not?
So let's hear this one. Here is a high school young lady. This is high school student take a college tour and guess this unexpected real world lesson on racism. Let's take a listen to this. It's only a short 2 minutes.
I didn't know what was going to happen.
What started off as an educational trip for a group of Flint high school students, they say left them with an unfortunate lesson on racism.
And the story is all new tonight at 11. ABC 12's Carice Jackman talked to the students and leaders about their ordeal. Carice.
Yes, man, and Andy, they say it's just unfortunate and a shame. The group was wrapping up a road trip visiting colleges and universities in the South, but when their bus broke down in northern Florida, they say the next few hours turned into an experience they'll never forget.
I was just really trying to stay optimistic and hope for the best in that situation.
Brittany Clerkey and a group of about 90 adults and teens were wrapping up a college tour on their way back to Flint when their bus had mechanical issues. They ended up staying the night at the Econo Lodge in Live Oak, Florida. Coordinator Blake Oldham says right after dinner is when the trip took a much different and disturbing tone.
It was all my white people, and they started taking pictures of all the kids. Like, we were walking in and out of the hotel.
I heard one of the ladies, she said, you know, if I see one more of them, I'm calling the law.
Melissa Black was on the trip and says the students were peaceful but felt uncomfortable at the hotel.
They were calling us the N-word, and they called Blake the N-word. We were just like, whoa.
Oldham says things felt so tense that to avoid any trouble, he tried to be proactive by calling police. They arrived and told the group to stay in the room for the night. Odom says the officer left him with a chilling message.
Officers did pull me to the side, and he said, I just want to let you know, in this area right off the interstate, people aren't too accommodating to you all. And he said, if you know what I mean. And I said, black people, and he said yes.
The students tell ABC 12 overnight the staff antagonized them, and they say they were told to check out the next morning immediately at 10 the next day. And as they left, that's when Odom says tensions reached a boiling point, when he says he heard the manager say,
we're going to get these off our property.
My name is Carice Jackman from ABC 12 News in Flint. ABC 12 reached out to the Econo Lodge, but our calls were never returned.
They should not be able to get away with treating us like that.
And Odom says they plan on taking legal action and have already called the hotel's corporate headquarters. Carice Jackman, ABC 12 News.
Oh, well.
What do you say? What do you mean, oh, well? Oh, well, what? Oh, well, what part? I mean, well, let me add a little bit to this. The group claims the hotel staff harassed students in the parking lot. Used a master key to enter one of their rooms and rushed the group off the property the following morning. At the Wendy's restaurant, students claim that they were denied service and told there was no cash in the register. A.C. Dumas, the second vice president of the Flint NAACP and a coordinator for the group efforts, contacted the Florida NAACP. Dumas said he is having each of the students make written statements about what happened at the hotel and at the restaurant. After notarizing the statements, he said he will collect them and send them to Michigan, Florida, and the national NAACP conferences to look into legal action. And I was wondering, what kind of legal action could you take? We feel it's a civil rights issue, they said, when they use the N-word. We feel that's ethnic intimidation, which is a federal crime, Dumas said. We plan to do whatever it takes by any means to let them know that they have a positive dream and that they do not have to be ashamed to go wherever they want. They can walk in dignity.
Why do we waste our time doing all that stuff?
This is something about, we're going to deal with Wendy's too. You see people of color when they can't come up, and they aren't all thieves, they aren't all robbers, he continued. They're just hungry and wanted to get something to eat.
Marjorie, this is not difficult. It's very simple.
They had money in their pocket, and to be denied public accommodations, which is another civil rights violation.
Call for a national boycott of Econo Lodge. How about that?
Well, I thought about it. I mean, like, what else could you do other than some economic
let me tell
action?
You this.
But wait, but have you ever been in an Econo Lodge?
Yeah, I've been.
Really? Yeah. I've never. Who the heck goes there?
No, it's not bad.
I guess you got to be
It's low
desperate.
budget.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. But sometimes they're owned by individual owners.
That's true.
So to me, I bet you this work. Call for a national boycott of Econo Lodge. National boycott, starting with that hotel in northern Florida, wherever it is. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, the headquarters of Econo Lodge
will do something with that franchisee.
Will quickly do something. What are you getting notarized letters and all? For what? For what? And then it's going to take months? No. And that's part of the problem that we have. I'm saying, listen, I'm going right away. Don't patronize Econo Lodge until we get a public apology, right?
Right.
A public apology from Econo Lodge, from the CEO, right? And that franchisee is disciplined. Okay. You know what? They're going to realize the consequences, and the last thing they want is for anybody to start talking. We're going to put it on Facebook, you're going to put it on Twitter, you're going to put it on Instagram.
And that would be an easy place to boycott, because
it's easy.
Just don't go there.
Just don't go there. It's easy.
I can go on for a while.
Bypass Econo Lodge.
All of them.
All of them. So anyway, here's Chris Rock. Chris Rock is bothered by the lack of black players in baseball, and explain why.
In baseball, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's going to have a funny tint towards this, right?
Okay. Well, we hope so.
You know.
I mean, you know.
My pleasure to introduce Chris Rock for Real Sports on why blacks have abandoned baseball and why it matters.
I'm an endangered species, a black baseball fan. Why don't black people like baseball anymore? When I was growing up, we loved baseball. I followed the Mets, and in 1986, we won it all with Doc, Darryl, Mitchell, and my man Mookie. Back then, almost 20% of all major leaguers were African American. And I could actually have conversations with other black people about baseball. Hey, what's up, man? You see the game last night? Yeah, it was great. Now if I say to a black person, did you see the Met game last night? They'll say, what the fuck's a Met? Last year, the San Francisco Giants won it all without any black guys on the team. The closest thing to a person of color in the stands was their mascot, a biracial seal. If you want to see a seal clubbed to death, let them stroll through Brooklyn flashing those rings. And the team the Giants had to beat to get there, the St. Louis Cardinals, had no black players either. None. How could you ever be in St. Louis and see no black people? And get this, their crowds were more than 90% white, like the Ferguson Police Department. Baseball isn't 20% black anymore, it's 8% and falling fast. That's an average of 2 guys per team. And those 2 probably listen to Blake Shelton to keep from getting their ass kicked by their teammates. Running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. Stillman is one of the oldest black schools in America. Almost every kid there is black, except for these 36, the baseball team. 1 black kid and 35 white guys. And at Howard University, the Harvard of black colleges, they said fuck it and just canceled baseball altogether. Now they still have volleyball, tennis, even lacrosse. Yeah, lacrosse was black enough for Howard, but not baseball. Some people say it's money. Baseball is too expensive, but hey, Dominicans play it. This is a tiny third world island and it dominates baseball. And the only equipment they have are twigs for bats, diapers for gloves, and Haitians for bases. It's not the money. You can't tell me black kids can't afford baseball when everybody's buying Jordans for $300. That's 6 gloves right there. It's the game. It's old-fashioned and stuck in the past. You got the white-haired white guy announcers. You've got cheesy old organ music at the games. I mean, where's the Beats by Dre? And every team is building a bullshit fake antique stadium that's supposed to remind you of the good old days. You know, the good old days of Roof, DiMaggio, Emmett Till. Guess what? Black people don't like to look back. Throwback Thursday is about as far back as black people like to go. But baseball can't get enough. Last month they had a throwback baseball tournament where everybody got dressed up like it was the 1860s. Back when batting runners in meant putting down a slave rebellion. Had it down in Franklin, Tennessee, at a plantation. Then the next day, they all went back to their jobs as corrections officers and state senators. Baseball wants everything to stay the way things used to be. The world has sped up, but the game is slower than ever. Last year, the Mets played a half inning with no hits, and it took more than 22 minutes. That's a whole episode of Key and Peele.
Where is Aaron right now?
And baseball doesn't just have rules from another time. It has an old-fashioned code, too. When you score in football or basketball, the players celebrate. Good times, come on! But when you score in baseball, the code says you better not look too happy about it, or else a baseball will go whizzing by your head. It's the only game where there's a right way to play the game. The white way. The way it was played 100 years ago, when only whites were allowed to play. This code doesn't exist in other places where they play baseball, like Korea, where bat flipping is an art form. Or the Caribbean, where the games are a carnival. The old Negro Leagues were a carnival too. There were actual clowns on the roster. They played with invisible balls pitched through their legs. But in America's proper version of the game, baseball is like a visit to the Queen. If you don't bow correctly, it could be an international incident. When Yasiel Puig got here 2 years ago from Cuba, the first thing the Dodgers told him was, be ready to